Welcome, what is up? Thank you for tuning back into the Chaos Lair. Of course, I am Chris Chaos here with the Raw 411. The Go Home show lived up to what it needed to. The Go Home Raw for the Royal Rumble anyway. Jericho, Owens, Reigns announced the U.S. title rematch tonight. Finally. I was wondering when that was going to happen. I kind of felt like it was the right time to do it tonight instead of waiting until, say, right after the Rumble. Because at this point, I honestly think that Reigns is going to win the title at the Rumble, but that could change before the actual Rumble starts. So anyway, Cesaro and Gallows, just a good TV match, hyping up their title match for the pay-per-view on the pre-show, which I hate that it's on the pre-show because that means I'm probably not going to watch it. Because as you all know, the pre-show is 2 hours, and the pre-show is going to be a lot of talk. Little like talk. Maybe some talk. That's all it's going to be. They're not going to give it the time, I don't feel like they're going to anyway, that it deserves, and I hate the spot for them. These guys have all been working hard. Why do they have to get a pre-show match? The Royal Rumble pay-per-view is going to be 4 hours long. Move it to the main card. Rollins versus Zayn. Oh, by the way, 2 referees for that match. That is an idea that is underused in today's WWE. I think they could get away with it a little bit more than, or a lot more than how they use it. But still, great. I love the idea. Because it's something different that they don't hardly ever do. So anyway, Rollins and Zayn for the Rumble spot sucks. Because I love Seth Rollins. And I thought that during this match, man, my boy Jay Ray is going to be upset because his favorite guy, his number one guy, is not going to be in the Royal Rumble. And then by God, if it didn't change, and my guy is not going to be in the Royal Rumble now. I kept thinking for the longest time that Triple H was going to come out at the Rumble, distract Rollins, and he was going to get dumped out of the Rumble. Or he was going to eliminate himself and run after him. But now that's not even happening. And once this match started, I actually thought that, maybe Triple H shows up tonight and, he doesn't cost him at the Rumble, he cost him tonight. And then I thought, no, that can't happen. And then I thought, well, what if he just plays his music and distracts him? I thought, no, that's not going to happen. He's got to be in the Rumble. It's got to, and by God, if Triple H's music didn't hit, he didn't come out, Seth gets pinned, and now he's not even in the Royal Rumble, and it fucking sucks. It really does. Now, there's still a lot of time between now and the Rumble. There's almost a whole week. So there's 5 days left. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. And he could get into the Royal Rumble. Maybe he attacks somebody and steals their number. We've seen that in the past, and they haven't done that in a couple of years, so why not? These things usually, cycle through. You can only come up with new stuff every so often at this point in pro wrestling, so maybe it'll happen. The Cruiserweight 6-man was good, but it wasn't long enough. But for the massive amount of the universe as it is, it didn't need to be because the Cruiserweights aren't getting over like they should. The inverted 450, beautiful. It's just beautiful, and I love it. And I'm glad that they're pushing Ali. They're really trying to push Ali so people give him some kind of reaction. Let's see where it goes. Maybe he is the next guy after Rich Swann to be the champion. Or, maybe he's the next guy to feud with whoever wins. If Neville wins it or if Rich retains it this Sunday. Who knows? The 8-man was just... I think it was just kind of thrown together. Having Strowman in there really didn't make a whole lot of sense. I think he was just thrown in there to get kind of a big push as far as a dominant guy going into the Rumble, and then for Big Show to come out. Look, Paul looked absolutely amazing. It's the best he's ever looked in his whole career. Personally, I'm really excited for him, and I think this is probably going to be his last WrestleMania, and the rumor is that he's going to wrestle Shaq. Who knows if they set that up this Sunday? I don't know. We'll see how that goes. The Bayley and Bayley and Charlotte interviews were really good, and Charlotte just gives me goosebumps. Going into pay-per-views, she always delivers such great promos, and it just gives me goosebumps. It's like ecstasy as far as how to deliver a promo, because she has learned how to do it the right way and how to get the right points across, and she is nailing it. She is absolutely nailing it, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. U.S. title, it's kind of predictable. And I'm glad that they went this way. DQ finish for Reigns. Jericho gets disqualified because KO interferes. I knew that you can't have Roman lose here going into the pay-per-view. It needed to be some kind of screwy finish, and it was, and it needed to be. It was the right call this time. And KO ends up in the shark cage. By the way, that shot that Jericho took against the cage looked like it could have been either they are really good or his face smashed against that cage. And it looked like his face just smashed against that cage. Props for taking that shot. The Nia Jax Sasha thing was good. I liked how Nia just completely squashed old girl who looked really familiar. I can't place her. And probably by the time this video goes up on YouTube, I'll probably know who it is. And I probably should have already looked, but she looked so familiar, and I just couldn't place it. And I still can't place it. It'll come to me. I won't even have to look it up. I'll sit down here in a minute, and it'll just come to me. But I didn't like the ending of it. I didn't like how Sasha jumps off the apron and gives her the double knees, and then Nia pretty much just bounces right back up. Nia should have sold it a little bit and let Sasha go up the ramp, up on the ramp, and then got up on one knee. Because with her being like 15 feet from her, why Sasha is hurt? Why doesn't Nia just get up and go after her? Why would Nia just get up and watch her walk away? That's dumb. Nia is the big, monster, and Sasha's a little bitty girl, and she's hurt. It just didn't add up. It didn't make a lot of sense. I didn't really like it. Swan versus Daivari was a good match. Great finish. I don't know what they're doing with Foxy, with Dar, and Alexander. I kind of like the idea of having Alexander away from Foxy, because I think Cedric needs to be alone, to be by himself. Telling you Cedric can be the next AJ, Rollins, Zayn, Owens. He's in that category. He's just going to need more time to mature. Because he didn't have such a long run on the indies, a long run, especially on top, like all these other guys did. So he's kind of coming into this and needing to prove it to everybody. But I have complete faith that he can do it. Goldberg, I tuned Raw out when he came on. Lesnar being there was great. And Taker coming out at the end to fade to black was a great ending to Raw. I always love the ending, and I hope that they do this ending tomorrow night on SmackDown, where the majority of the guys that are going to be in the Rumble come out and they just brawl. And maybe some guys from Raw need to be at SmackDown tomorrow night just for the ending, just so everybody gets in there, and just so we have like a mini Rumble there at the end, and maybe SmackDown fades to black with just a big brawl going on. Maybe that's the perfect ending to SmackDown. Maybe I just wrote it. And maybe WWE should just go ahead and hire me to write creative, because they don't need 30 guys on each show, or 30 guys, period, to write this show. I could write all of this. A piece of cake. Anyway. By the way, Taker, that's how he needs to come into the Rumble. He doesn't need to be the first guy. He doesn't need to be the last guy, because that is way too predictable. He's already done it at both sides. He's already been 1 and 30. He needs to be somewhere in the middle, closer to the end, past 20. The gong needs to hit, the lights need to go out. They need to be off 5-6 seconds. Lights come back on, Taker's in the ring, and he's destroying people. And that is how it needs to work. That's all I've got. Be sure to tune right back here tomorrow night, hopefully, for the SmackDown 411 leading into the Royal Rumble. I've also got 2 videos coming up this week sometime, probably be on Friday night. The Royal Rumble, my thoughts and predictions for the Royal Rumble that I'm going to do, and my classic by the numbers stats and info on the Royal Rumble, which I always love doing. So, with that being said, make sure to go back and watch the video that I uploaded last night about Howard Finkel. That will explain everything. I don't want to go into that again. Deuces, as always. And as for right now, Chaos is out.